Hello, welcome back to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper, and we are outside today at the Dragline crane. And yes, we are going to be starting to put this thing back together, starting with all the repairs and replacement parts we made for the track system, the tracks, all that stuff. We're going to start working on that. I don't know where this video is going to take us, but let's head over to the crane and start looking over what we have and start putting things back together. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you've seen some of the repairs we've done already. I replaced these sprockets. We had this idler here was all cracked all the way around, and I repaired that. We made all new shafts here, and I have a lot more than this to replace these that are significantly worn. And then we'll come over here to our track idlers. And these all got new nylon bushings. So yeah, everything is ready to go back together. And here are all the track pads. And if you remember back, I had my apprentice at the time, Connor, rework all these, do some repairs, some welding. He welded cracks here. Some of them he welded this up. Some of them he welded up here. Some of them were better than others. Some of them were really bad. But overall, they're not in bad shape. And he also made all new track pins, which are somewhere in the bottoms of these boxes. They're split up between the two boxes. So when I get to that, we'll bring the box in the shop and start assembling the tracks. But tonight, we're going to start putting these wheels back on, these idlers, and get as much done as we can before I run out of daylight. Now, if you remember back when I started tearing this all apart, or Connor started tearing this all apart, we tried salvaging the U-bolts and we were unable to, and I managed to source new U-bolts which fit absolutely perfectly. The company that made these for me made them to my specs, and they did an amazing job on them. Very happy with them, no issues whatsoever. And for what I paid for them, I couldn't make them myself in the shop. That was one of the things many people commented, oh, you're a machine shop, make your own. That's not how this works. So much stuff can be sourced from companies that are better suited to make the stuff cheaper than I can buy the material for sometimes. So yes, had I not had any work in the shop at the time, I could have knocked these out. Yeah, no problem. But how much time would I have lost where I could have spent it on jobs that are making money? So to source these from another company and provide jobs for other people was far more important to me than saving, you know, well, probably costing myself several $100s more just in time and material. So it was a smart investment on my part. So what I'm going to do first here is we're going to start by putting on the top rollers, because I want to do the easy ones first. All right, so I'm just going to start by putting my shaft in first. And these are a pretty good fit. They're not super tight, but they're not loose either. And then there are these dust caps that go on as well. And they just fit like that. Nothing crazy. I don't know how much good they really do, but every little bit helps. And we'll just drop it into the slot here. Just like that. Pretty simple. And of course I already did it backwards. Not thinking, because grease our coal. Want that on the outside where we can access it easy. And we'll go ahead and that's all there is to this really, and then tighten up the U-bolts. So just pretty much center it, and it's got some room to float. And I don't know if you're noticing this, but I'm using some extra long nuts that I ordered separately, just because I wanted a little more thread bearing. Not too concerned of them, but I just wanted extra. And the cost of the nuts weren't significant enough to really concern me much. All right, and before I'm all done, I'm going to come back through and snug these all with a breaker bar, make sure they're good and tight, but they shouldn't go anywhere. There. Oh, good thing I'm not fatter. Oh. All right, those are the easy ones. Let's go ahead and get the other 6 on. Those don't look like fun. All right, so you probably saw how I struggled with that first one there. The second one here, I changed up my plan and attacked it a little bit differently. I put the U-bolt on the backside first, assembled the wheel, lifted it up into place, held it up with one hand, started the second U-bolt. That worked great. I'm not torquing these things down yet. I'm just hanging them right now so that I can go through and tighten them all, get the hard part done first, but you know, obviously do the dumbest way possible on the first one, figure it out on the second one, and then the rest of them will go easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the U-bolts all on the back side ready to go, and then start popping the wheels on. All right, all 6 of the bottom ones are hanging there. I had a couple that went in a little stiff, but they'll still roll just fine, especially once there's weight on there. They'll wear in a little bit. And if you probably noticed when I was putting this last one on, I put it on backwards. I just switched that around, so it's the right way now. And now I can snug them all up and then install the grease zerks. And this side will be mostly done. All right, so while I'm snugging these up, I'm gonna answer some questions that I know so many people have. Why a dragline? Well, because a hydraulic excavator is boring. I've run excavators, I've run cranes, I've run all kinds of heavy equipment my whole life. And honestly, cranes are by far my favorite, but these old draglines will move so much dirt so efficiently and so much more fun than a hydraulic hoe. It's just a fun thing. You know, it's one of those things that you don't see very often, and well, why not? Always like cranes. And somebody's gonna ask, oh, why aren't you using an impact wrench on these? Well, you can't get one in there, for one, and I don't like those electric impacts. I've got air ones, I like those, but the electric ones I just don't care for. I don't know, call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want, but I enjoy wrenching on things too. Yeah, it's a little slower, but you know where you're at. There's a lot more feel. And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what I intend to do with this thing. Well, whatever I want. I plan on digging a pond. Plan on, you know, digging all kinds of fun stuff. And use it for lifting around the yard. Whatever I want to do with it. It's going to be a handy piece of equipment. It's bought and paid for. It's cool. So, you know, whatever I want to do with it. That's the correct answer here. And I actually had the opportunity to buy this crane about 10 years ago when I bought my Super M Farmall that I power the sawmill with and several other things around here. The guy that had the Super M, he had the dragline. And I looked at it then and I just couldn't come up with the money at the time. You know, this is pretty, like I've said in many of my videos, a very depressed region, and you know, work isn't something that's readily available here. So you do what you got to do to survive, and I made the choice not to buy the dragline at the time, and I regretted it for many years. And a friend of mine bought it off of the guy that I was going to buy it from, and he had it for several years, and he was terminally ill. And I talked to him about it, and I paid him a lot more than he paid for it, a lot more than I would have bought it from the original owner for. But it's going towards his medical bills and stuff, so that was all good with me. You know, it's just helping out a friend, really. And I didn't pay much for it, to be honest with you. I probably could have got more in scrap for it, but who wants to scrap something this cool? So here it is, and we're just putting it back together. You know, John said if anybody was going to save it, it would be me, so he was right. I'm going to put her back together. So I hope that answered a lot of the questions. I'm going to keep wrenching on this. We're losing our daylight, so we'll pick up probably moving on to the tracks next, and that'll be, we'll bring those in the shop and start putting them together. And I don't know how we're going to get those on because they're heavy. So I'm going to keep the video going. I'll just finish this up, and then next scenes will be in the shop putting the tracks together. All right, so I got the first box of pads over here, and I already discovered a slight problem. And I'll bring you in and show that. It's just going to be a slight modification to ensure these go together a lot easier, but it won't take much. All right, so I don't know how well this is going to show up, but if you look down here, we'd have to put the pin through here. All of these pads are bent slightly up. So what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm just going to trim this corner off enough to get the pin through. And I'll just try to plant it all on the same side, so it'll be, try to do for the inside of the track, so towards the machine, not out on the outside, but we'll just round it out real nice so you can't hardly tell, just, or maybe a nice 45. It's not going to affect us anything, but definitely can't put them together like that. I remember having a hard time getting them apart because of some of this, but not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and start by trimming that off, and then I'll start laying them out so we can put the pins in. All right, so I got one of my pins right here, and just to show you this, that corner is what's doing it right there. I can't get it in there. Spin it around, take a look the other way just to see that it's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's the corner. I think just getting rid of that corner is going to do it. So I'm going to try to take them all off on this side on this one, and I might do the opposite side on the other track as I kept them separate, but it's not going to take much. So I'll just take the plasma torch here, put my gloves on, and just nip that edge. That'll work. That's not going to affect my travel or anything that much, so perfect. All right, there they all are, together, laid out, and ready to accept pins. And some of them you may have saw I had to trim a little bit extra, but like I said, that's not going to affect me anything. Taking that corner off, I could have heated and beaded on it and straightened them out, but it's really not necessary. There's enough ground support here. With my soil and everything, I don't see any issues. And like I said, these things are pretty in rough shape. So if these fail, I'm going to be looking at a whole different solution moving forward. Maybe think about upgrading that thing to rubber tracks. Yeah, maybe. That might be possible. All right, the next thing we got here is the pins that I don't know if you guys all remember when Connor made these and we put them in the totes. outside, get them out of the shop because I don't have a lot of space. They got a little rusty, but that's not a concern. But they're just drilled on each end and they get a roll pin. So we're gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna get a couple of these set roll pins in the first end on 2 of them. And then we'll go and install those 2 on the track so you can see how it all goes together. Perfect, just like that. So when I took these apart, I don't know if you guys remember back to that video, but all there was the roll pin in each end. And I wasn't a big fan of that. I didn't think that was a great way to do it. So I just want to double check it here. But we should have enough room, yes. We actually made these pins a touch longer so that I could put a washer on each end, just to give myself a little more wear surface. So when this goes together, in fact, we're still gonna have to put that there first. When this is all together, it won't chew into the tracks and it'll tighten it up just a little bit more. So put the other washer on the other side and we'll drive in the pins. And it's a good snug fit. It should work out good. There, just like that. Yeah, that's a lot tighter. So it doesn't have as much side-to-side slop with the shaft, and it can't wear into the sides there, so that'll work out great for us. So I'm going to continue working down the line and get these all put together so we can get this track out of here. I can get the other one in and maybe get them on the crane yet in the next month or so. All right, last one. That actually went a lot better than I expected it to. I thought for sure this would be a nightmare. And whether or not the washers are a good idea, I don't know. I'm gonna find out though. I'm probably gonna regret it. But anyway, they're all done. I'll go ahead and get this guy out of here so I can get the next one in. Well, cool. That's one track back together. And I just got to get the other box in, get that one put together. I'm not going to bore you with that video because, I mean, putting the other one together is probably going to go just as well as this one did. So I'll get them both together, and then our next video on the Dragline will be putting it together, putting the tracks on. I'm not sure how we're going to accomplish that yet because they are very heavy. But I also have a possible question for my viewers, and in case you guys are interested, how many of you would be interested in coming up for a work weekend? Putting the tracks back on, maybe doing some adjusting on the linkages and stuff, maybe putting the cylinder back on the steam engine. Just out of curiosity, how many of you would be willing to make the trip to Spooner, Wisconsin to help out with that stuff? Obviously this is big, heavy stuff, hard to work on, especially by myself. I can recruit, you know, my brother, my friend Pete, probably Randy, who made me start the channel. So I got a few people that can help with this, but how many of you viewers would be interested? So that's my question to all of you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, seeing just how the tracks went back together. Like I said, the trimming of that little corner on there isn't going to affect anything on them. They're pretty wore, but they'll survive my lifetime, I'm guessing, for as much as I plan on doing with it. It's a toy. So with that, check out my website, toppermachine.com. We've got the pin jaws in stock. We've got anchor lube, you know, hats, things like that. I have all that on hand, so check out the website, toppermachine.com. And please like, subscribe, share, stay with us. Channel's doing really cool stuff. I plan to continue to do really cool stuff, whether it be my own stuff or stuff in the shop, as long as I possibly can. So keep watching, stay with us, share it as much as possible. I appreciate all the support. So until next time, thank you, and get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.